Hello, team. It's time for the Daily Detangler. All right, getting punched in the face. This is coming off of the Catalyst over the weekend. He shared some of his lessons learned. And last week was rough for him because he got punched in the face left and right. And so I thought I'd unpack that. And what does getting punched in the face really mean? And can I empathize with getting punched in the face? And then, have I ever been punched in the face? And what does that feel like? And what can I do about it? Because it seems to be a repeatable pattern, especially the more innovative we are. So I really like the visual that Catalyst uses. He uses this picture, and I think it's perfect. And I have been I don't know, the envious or unenvious position of being the person on the left, probably punching him in the face in the past. And then I've also been on the right trying to work with others, and I've been the one punched in the face. I've punched Catalyst in the face over, him saying things like, I'm not adding the right kind of value, and I just want to punch him in the face. Or I'm going too slow, or I'm not being disciplined enough, or in the past, my writing was not good or whatever. So I've really felt the urge. I've never actually punched him in the face, but I've certainly felt the urge. And then at the same time, it's really interesting. The more we get clear on what we're doing and why we're doing it, the more I get punched in the face. So I'm spending time trying to explain and work through what is the orb. And I've attempted to work on that outside of our team, and I get punched in the face. It's too academic, it's too conceptual. I don't understand why it's people process information and technology, why an orb, just all kinds of stuff. Or with orchestrate sales, well, you need to have all this stuff. You need to have all of these things. And all these things are required. And it's this huge list of stuff that's impossible to figure out. Or every time I talk to somebody, they're like, well, you should do, write a book on that. Or when I talk to a client, hey, that typo is wrong, or the format isn't right, or there's too many slides, or that visual doesn't work, it's not diverse enough, just all kinds of little like jab, 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 jab. And then I get some uppercuts like, no, I'm not going to pay you. I'm not going to pay you for your work, or because you're not operational enough. Or I'm not going to pay you enough because you're not innovative enough. I don't know, right? And it's like, it's just not fun. And this thing, it creates divisiveness. That's the word that I come up with is, I feel this division when this happens. And, part of me is, can't we all just get along? But at the same time, part of me is like, just like Catalyst said, this is human nature, especially when innovation challenges your whole being. I mean, I wrote a 20-page LinkedIn post about the problems with training, and I had trainers coming after me because they thought I was throwing. Oops, sorry. They thought I was. They thought I was throwing the entire profession under the bus, and all kinds of stuff. And through the Moneyball clip that Catalyst showed, the end scene where Billy Beane's talking to the Boston Red Sox owner, and the Boston Red Sox owner is like, look, I know you're taking it in the teeth out there, but you're the first guy through the wall. He always gets bloody, always. This is threatening not just a way of doing business, but in their minds, it's threatening the game. Really what it's threatening is their livelihood, their jobs. It's threatening the way they do things. And every time that happens, whether it's the government a way of doing business, whatever. The people who are holding the reins, they have their hands on the switch and they go batshit crazy. So what is batshit crazy? And I've been on the recipient end of batshit crazy, literally, clients texting me at 2 in the morning, going off. And then I've also been the one who's gone batshit crazy, just going off on catalyst. So like, what is that? What causes that? And I like this picture where, I think in the past where I went batshit crazy, my picture was the right, but really it's the left. I think my stuff's under control and I know what I'm doing. And my picture is nice and neat on the left. And it's not. It looks, when I broaden my perspective and I think about things differently, when I have a new perception of what I'm really doing, that caused me to go batshit crazy. And it felt like I had to unlearn everything. And that didn't make me feel good. It's threatening. And that's big things. And then there's little things like, how do you create a simple message for salespeople? Everything is different. Everything is different. Training is different. The definition of training, competencies, the definition of skills, mindset, everything, 100%. And that is unsettling. And it would cause me to go batshit crazy. And then now I'm driving change and I'm trying to catalyze change in some of my clients. And I ask a lot of what and why questions and they go batshit crazy on me. And, it's really interesting. So I like what he said in his lessons learned. It all stems from this. It seems simple. It's a transaction. And this is all it is. But see that little arrow in the middle, the black and the red in the middle. The black arrow has built a whole entire way of working across marketing, sales, finance, accounting, that black arrow. So much has to change to be able to work backward from customers. And that red arrow is highly disruptive. It moves from, demand exists, we just have to push it out there, to a pole of helping customers be successful. And customers say, I don't really know what to do, or I don't know what I don't know. Can you help me? And, it's not this idea of, hey, we got answers on the left side. It's, that go to market side. It's the idea of, hey, the customer might not know what to do, and the customers may not know how to work together, and customers may not be clear on what the outcome is or what the problem is. How do we help them, figure that out? And that therein lies the source of people going batshit crazy. It seems simple, but man, having been on both sides, it's like, what do you do about it? And I think when I was trying to figure out, like, how do I detangle myself if I'm going to be on the left side operator and I'm being asked to innovate, it sounds good. Hey, let's change. I like change. Change is awesome. I'm good. And I think change is awesome as long as everybody else does it. Everybody else needs to change. I'm good, right? But when I have to change, I'll change maybe the 10 minutes I spend on something, but changing my whole perspective, changing my whole approach, changing my whole mindset, changing what I produce, changing my relationships, changing who I work with. No, I'm not doing that. I mean, innovation, if you think about it, innovation brings together people who have never worked together before. Innovation is, a legacy company bringing together people from across their business that have never spoken to each other in 15 years. That's what innovation can do. So in that idea of let's change, there's this conflict. And I think that's a huge challenge today, that this conflict exists, and it's acceptable because it's hidden. Literally nobody's out there swinging at each other, though I have in the past had somebody throw things at me, 15 years ago. So that's a whole other story. But this conflict usually is hidden until it boils over. So I said, well, what is the source of this? Let's define it, right? Operate. Operate, by its definition, is a person controls the functioning of a machine, process, or system. Well, that seems to be completely different than what we think. Um, can a person actually control the ecosystem of growth? A single person? It's interesting. Of course, we would say no, but I think I really thought I could back in my training days, that I knew how to do all that stuff, and I knew what it would take, and I knew what I needed to produce. And if I could just do it, then the system would be fine. And if everybody would just do what I say, and everybody else is the problem because I'm good at operating, and everybody has told me I am. And then if you look at the definition of innovate, make changes in something established. Boy, is there are a lot established in sales and marketing, and it's a lot of art, not a lot of science. And then it's, what is it about? Introducing new methods and new ideas and new products. This is the interesting thing. Products can be innovative, but can sales and marketing be innovative? New ideas? Can you really have a new idea? I remember when I was in sales, I put together a whole idea for what I called the revenue management office. And the company actually used my slides in a sales kickoff and hired a VP to present my slides to me. And they stole my idea, basically. And actually, I had 4 or 5 meetings with the VPs and the SVPs. And I'm like, my innovation was used at the company. And I'm like, what is going on? Is that really what innovation is? And so I remember I quit. I won the trip to club, and I had to come home, and I told my wife, congratulations, we won the trip to Mexico, but I quit. That was fun. Ask me about it sometime. But that's the collision of operate and innovate. And I've been dealing in that space for a long time. And I think the idea that operators have is they can control things, but what if control is a myth? And then on the innovate side, helping the innovators see, or the operators see, is a huge challenge. So there's a lot of conflict. And I wrote down what Catalyst said in his lessons learned. He's like, look, we cannot avoid the batshit crazy. We can't avoid the anxiety. Batshit crazy is the person punching us in the face. We have to make sure that when we talk about it, we realize that for us to get executive level support, like getting a CFO or a head of sales, that they're going to run into batshit crazy too. If we don't have a plan to mitigate it, then our adoption suffers and we can't sell licenses, et cetera. And if we're starting the middle with our change agents, and they're going to run into batshit crazy too, and they're internal to the company, it's even harder for them to take some of this stuff on. So what happens? And I was curious about like what happened in my prior self that I could try to unpack and try to detangle. Hey, Brian, let's change. Boom, there's conflict. It's like there's this degree of change. There's a change threshold or something that I'm okay with, as long as it's doesn't affect me. Change is awesome until it affects me, and then it's not good, and conflict happens. So what I did was I went back and I said, well, what would trigger me to go batshit crazy, and then what would I look like? And so, hey, batshit crazy trigger is, hey, this whole thing is not time bound. It's about an outcome, and it may take us a while. Well, that would be like, well, screw that. I'm not doing that. I would just dismiss it. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, not time bound. So I would be like, that's just ridiculous. Of course it has to be time bound. We need a project plan. Something else that would trigger me is, hey, there's no real definitive answers here. We're going to emerge to an answer. I'd be like, well, I already know what the answer is. The answer is X. I know what it is. These people are idiots. No definitive answers. It's clearly whatever. Why are we having all these meetings? We're having all these meetings. We're having these discussions. We're learning about like all this other stuff. We're talking about Brooklyn bridges, for example. We're talking about Attila the Hun or George Washington. Like, what are we really doing? Let me take this over, because clearly I know how to drive us forward. So let me drive it forward. Give me the keys to the car. I know what I'm doing. And I would try to dominate that. And then, all this discussion about why and what, and, stop solutioning. Back, 15 years ago, I'd be like, well, let me tell you why I'm solutioning. And I would defend my whole approach and write down all of the reasons why my approach is better than somebody else's. And then, this idea of factoring in everybody's perspective. What if they're not as smart as me? Let's just ride this out, right? Let's just ride this out. All these perspectives will play out. We're not going to get anywhere. I'll just kind of follow along, blah, blah, blah. We're going to sit around. Everybody's going to, sing kumbaya. And if I just wait this out, the longer I can delay this, the more we'll go back to what I want to do, right? And so these types of actions or behaviors, dismissing or diagnosing, dominating, defending, and delaying, were like a go-to that would cause me to feel more comfortable. But the more that these got pushed, where I can't dismiss it, I can't use my diagnosis, I cannot dominate, my defense is getting shot in holes, and there's no way I can delay it, then I go batshit crazy. And what is that? So I was trying to figure out what that is. And I was like, one, I'm not always that way. How do I kind of bounce around? And so there's this idea of how do I show up into situations? And, over the last 15 years, I've become more comfortable going, less BSC, but I still have flare-ups. So there's how I show up, and there's why am I showing up, or why am I engaging? And I plotted that out. So how I show up, I'm very assertive about something versus I'm not sure. And then why am I showing up? To protect what I know or to grow? So I plotted these out and, kind of gave them some labels. If I'm trying to protect what I know and I'm not sure what's going on, I'll delay and I'll kind of just, check out and get to it later. If I'm, trying to drive some sort of consensus, I might try to act like the mayor, which I'm terrible at because I'm usually binary, one or the other. But I see catalysts trying to be the mayor a lot. If I'm trying to grow, but I'm not sure, then I'll follow. I'm opting into the idea that we're going to grow. If I can just participate, I'll follow along, but I can't drive it, but I'll engage, I'll grow, and I'll at least give it a try. And then there's, batshit crazy. And I think the batshit crazy that would come out would be if I'm highly assertive about, I know the answer, and I'm trying to protect what I already know, and I'm trying to lean and drive some sort of what I believe is best practice, my way or the highway, that's batshit crazy. And the more I do it, the more batshit crazy I would get. Being a mayor or an avoider or follower, those are more acceptable, but a best practice zealot who's assertive, protecting what they know, it's like, that's going to stick out, and it would really cause a lot of friction. And I didn't know what to call this, but to me, like, if I'm growing in an assertive growth, I'm going to champion the outcome. I'm going to be adaptive. I'm going to try to be more customer centric. So these are like hats that I can wear as I'm moving around. And I got to stay out of the left top where what am I trying to protect? What am I trying to be assertive around? And I just plotted this out. I don't know if this works. I'm not trying to declare the answer, but like, to me, I can be all of these. Sometimes it's good for me to be the trusty follower. Sometimes I might need to be the collective mayor, but the best practice zealot, when I'm trying to innovate, isn't good. So, what if the operate, innovate, flare-ups can be kind of patterned out? What would that look like? And batshit crazy to me is, assertive protection of some sort of perceived best practice. And the more that gets pushed on because the person can't, dismiss it, what we're doing, they can't diagnose their best practice as the answer. They can't dominate with what they believe is right. They can't defend the use of the best practice anymore, and they're not allowed to delay. They have to move forward. To me, the more batshit crazy they'll go. So what I did was I was like, maybe this is something I don't know, but what is this? So what is the best practice zealot? I think I can be that way if I just want to jump to the answer and that's good in an emergency or something. So maybe a best practice zealot isn't necessarily always bad, but if I need to operate and it's a crisis, okay. Um, maybe being adaptive and being the champion of an outcome, that's going to be a new solution or a reframing. That's a different type of response to change. The mayor, I was trying to write, what does Catalyst do? Because he says he plays the mayor a lot. I don't know if this is right. It's more of a short term, quick win that builds up over time, like a snowball effect is what I was trying to put. And then, sometimes it might be okay for me to check out and avoid things when it's emotionally charged, when perhaps people are flaring up. I actually do this at my client. This is where this came from. Um, my client will be like, I tried to reach you for 2 days, because she's just going like batshit crazy. And I'm like, she's just highly emotional. And I just have to check out. Anyway, it's a long story. I may need therapy. I don't know. And then trusty follower. I'm trying to do that more with what we're doing. So I don't know. I love feedback on this and see what you think. I was trying to write it up more as a definition. I don't know if it's right. I'm not trying to like diagnose myself, but I'm trying to use um, past examples. And so where I've been able to simmer down on batshit crazy, I replace, I need this. Yes, but you should. I don't. I can't. No. I replace those things with the things on the right. Well, yes, and we can, we have, we are, yes. How do I do more of the innovate side? And that's been helpful, I think, though I still sometimes try to just, try to diagnose or dominate or defend. And when I try to do these things, I use these as kind of an uh, early warning system that I need to let things go and figure out how I need to show up and why I'm really showing up. And can I be more of a trusty follower, adaptive champion, maybe even a collective mayor more? But the best practice zealot and checked out avoider, that's not helpful. So that's how I've attempted to detangle getting punched in the face and then also being the person who punches in the face. I think the more I go on the right side here in my client, um, the more my client digs in on the left and the more I get punched in the face. And the more zen I get and I try techniques on the right, the more batshit crazy she goes. So in a way, it's working. Funny, right? I don't know. That is a sign. It is. So that's me leading with me. I'm late for a meeting, but I wanted to get this out. I love your feedback. Maybe we can play off of this and see if this is helpful for people to diagnose themselves. Maybe there's a way to test this on ourselves and see if these patterns hold up in our own responses to change. All right. Thanks a lot. See ya. This one's been I don't know. It's been a bit revealing for me and humbling to put myself on paper like that. So I'm leading with me. Don't judge me. See ya.